Yeah, hello everyone. We are here again. Ojúmọ́ kan ara kan la máa ń gbé wá, a tún ti gbé wá lẹ́ni. And I'll be happy if you can listen, sit down and ready to listen. And you will learn a lot from the media house of Mr. Big Rich. Today, I am with special person, Bisola Ali. Someone you will love to meet. Please tell us much about yourself.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Big Rich. My name is Bisola Ali. I am married with 3 children. I am a social worker by profession. I work within the adult social services. I have a BA in psychosocial studies. I've got a master's in social work, and I'm currently completing a PhD degree in social work. And that's me in a nutshell, really.
Wow, that's a great one. Great one. It's a great one. And we go straight to the discussion of today. It's all about family. What are we achieving in our community? What are the impact that individually we're giving back to our community or to our neighborhood? So here's the reason why we're coming out here with the problem that's always occurred within the family, especially in this among the blacks community in this United Kingdom or around the world. Let's talk about the damages that separation bring into the family. How can you put more light into this, or how can you, with your own knowledge, experience, help the new couples or the family that has been affected?
Okay, I will start by saying, this is a statement, and I think it's important to make that statement that couples going through divorce or separation usually they go through a very tough time. It's usually a very turbulent period in the life of any family. Now, separation occurs, divorce occurs due to various reasons, which maybe I will touch on, later on. But I want to really focus on the damages or the impact separation or divorce, as the case may be, may have on children. So we all know that when we go through separation or divorce within a family, the children are the people who are likely to suffer more. And the reason for that is because our children are dependent on us. They rely on us for financial support, for psychological support, emotional support. They are vulnerable. They cannot be by themselves or be on their own or fend for themselves. So they really rely on us. So when something goes wrong within the family, when communication most of the time breaks down within a family and is leading to divorce, the children are likely to suffer emotionally. Children are likely to develop mental health problems, being depressed in the house without you even knowing as a parent. Because most of the time what parents do is focus on the divorce and the separation, going through all the legal processes. Most of the time when separation takes place or divorce takes place, that there is no love between the couples anymore. So people go through all sort of channels to get themselves separated from their partners, but forgetting the impact the steps they are taking are likely to have on their children. So children are likely to be depressed, mental health problems, psychological and emotional trauma may set in. You will find that some children will begin to fail academically without you knowing.
Is there any age barrier with that?
There isn't. Any child really within a family can suffer all of this that I've mentioned to you. There is that sense of loss, there is that frustration, there is this sense of confusion, there is anger, there's all sort of emotions going on for that child. Either they are young, they are old, or they are teenagers, or even for some families that their children are already have their own family. So you have grown up adults within the family. They are married to their partners, they have their own children, and their parents who are now living on their own are going through divorce. It may also have an impact in the lives of those adults who already have their own family. So it can affect all ages. For children who are between the ages of maybe 0 months to 18 months, they may not particularly know the exact thing going on, but they can pick from all of the things going on. They even though they are not able to speak and not fully understand, all of those emotions going on in theirs can be picked up by them, and it can lead to depression even in very young babies. That's what I've talked about. Mental health, psychological and emotional trauma that can set in. And I just mentioned about, children will begin to fail academically without you knowing, and all of that. All of these things are things that we need to think about critically when that time of separation or divorce comes in. This is not to encourage people to go through divorce or separation, but things do happen. There are life events that, that takes place, and you think, what, this is the end of this relationship. But when we do them, we need to do them very carefully. And I must mention the fact that sometimes I always say to people, nobody is perfect. I'm not a relationship expert. I've got my own issues as well that I go through in my family. But it's about being able to communicate with one another. Even when you are going through separation, you still must communicate. You must consider the children that you have and the impact of the steps that you are taking on those children. When parents are divorcing or they're separating, children are likely to lose their own. Children are having to struggle. Who do I choose? Is it mommy? Is it daddy? Children are in a state of confusion. They don't know who to support. They don't know what they've done wrong. And sometimes some children may actually feel that maybe they are responsible for their parents' separation. When a divorce or a separation takes place,
that's an emotional problem.
Yeah, when divorce or separation takes place in a home, the income of that family is affected, isn't it? If the dad is the one who brings the major income in, or maybe mom is the one who brings the major income in, and there's separation, what do you think will happen? There is the likelihood that you may not be able to financially support the family as it should be, and in some families, families who don't really earn as much as other family, it may lead to poverty even within the UK.
Oh, thank you. Now we shall have a break, then we come back in a short time. Thank you. Well, welcome back. I am here still with Bisola Ali, a senior social worker, a psychosocial worker, someone who study and know much about it, someone who is on it in progress of our PhD degree. Let's go. Hello.
Hi.
At a time, can you put more light into the impact that this may bring into the community, as we said earlier on?
Okay. So, like I mentioned to you earlier on, I said the impact of divorce or separation can have a debilitating effect on children. And I mentioned about emotional, psychological trauma, I mentioned about mental health, I mentioned about divorce, being confused and all of that. But actually, when a child begins to have all of these emotions going on for them, and they have no one to turn to. They are confused. There's anxiety. There's a whole lot of issues going on. Some children may actually turn to drugs and alcohol to numb the pain that they are experiencing. Because some children don't have who to talk to and they are in this kind of situation, they may start to look into someone else to love them because they feel unloved by the parent, and begin to look for somebody out there to talk to. And that's where you find that some children are being groomed by gang men. They are being used for sexual exploitations and all
drugs.
of that, drug use and a whole lot of issues. And when a child is going through all of these, the impact on the community itself is massive, isn't it? Because when a child who is supposed to be doing academically well is now failing academically and is now turned to drugs and all of that, the community also will be impacted. That's where you have a lot of gang and groups and all sort of things going on, prostitution, name it all. And apart from prostitution, apart from belonging to gangs and all of these things, what about the mental health of the child? So when a child is going through depression and anxiety and they're frustrated and they develop, clinical depression or even something worse than that, it will cost the community money, isn't it? Because the child will need to be supported, to be rehabilitated in some cases. So it does have very massive impact.
They won't be useful for the community.
Absolutely. It has so many impacts on the community. And that's why, I mentioned earlier on that there is the need to communicate. Communication is very key. When something is going wrong, and you know something is not right, you need to be communicating with one another to resolve it before you even get to the divorce stage. But of course, there are situations where it's not redeemable. You can't repair anything. But some of the times, I would say, please communicate and
communication.
Yeah.
Thank you. How can we know that the children or the child is being affected in that family?
Well, you would know that your child
is there any signs?
Yeah,
or?
You will know your child is going through something if you are very observant. When a child begins to fail academically, and you as a mom or as a dad, you are involved in that child's life, and you know how the child used to perform, you will know something is not right somewhere. When a child begins to lock themselves up in the room, when a child is not talking to you anymore, there is family time, he or she is not joining in, they're sitting in their room, they prefer to talk to other people and all of that. You will know if your child begins to behave differently from what they used to be. So all those signs, if they are picked up on time, it can be worked on before things escalate and get really bad.
That's a great one. Your observation as a parent is needed. Very, very important. Thank you. So, in this case, what can we do, or how can we restore it back?
The way of restoring things back, because divorce and separation and the impact on children, it's a very complex thing. So the way of restoring it back, again, goes back to communication. Communicate before it gets bad. And even when something is wrong, when divorce is going on, separation is going on, consider your children and have discussion. You can separate without being enemies, if you get what I mean. So the way of restoring it, or the way of making things better for everyone and the community as a whole, is to continue to communicate in all aspects. To be honest, that's what I would advise.
So the parent should learn how to move closer to their child.
Absolutely.
Either the younger one or the older one. Now you learn. Here we stop today, and we'll see another day. Thank you for coming.
Thank you too.
And we will be happy to have you again in future. Thank you. Thank you for watching BMH.